God created science. God created the scientists. God has gifted us with the medicine. God has gifted us with the learning to get. So I just look at the vaccine, getting to the point of finding the vaccine for me was like, this is a gift from God.
God is so big and so huge and so loving that God has invested in the hearts and minds of doctors, nurses, scientists, biologists, and those gifts that they bring to us through science. That is a direct gift of God, and that is healing. Oftentimes, God heals us miraculously, but God does a lot more healing through medicine.
We have been praying that God would give us a means to keep us covered and protected, and I believe the vaccine is that means.
I do believe that God is a miracle worker. I believe all of those things, but I do believe that there is a percentage that we have to contribute in everything, you know? And so taking the vaccine is just our part.
The scripture tells us that faith without works is dead. You have to put some action behind it. Taking the vaccine is an action that you need to take to put behind the faith that you have.
I think my faith and confidence in the Lord and His abilities to work through divinely appointed scientists and medical professionals kind of catapulted me and gave me the confidence to go ahead and go through with it.
Having hesitations about something new that's out, some new medicine, new vaccine, I think that's natural and normal, I think, but to be a good steward, do the work, you know, get the good information. And I don't think the good information necessarily is social media or what your friends or everybody in the world wants to post about.
We have allowed social media and stuff like this to give us quick answers versus us putting in the work and going and finding the real answers. So that's what I did, went and did some research, read some stuff, and said, okay, this is making more sense. This is making more sense.
What caused me to take the vaccine was, number one, I did my research. I talked to peers, other pastors. I talked to various physicians and leaders in the medical field. After doing so, I felt comfortable, and so through prayer, I was not only able to take it myself, but I was able to be an encourager to others, as I have experienced after having taken it, that I did not have any side effects or anything, and so I try to encourage others to do the same.
I wanted to be an influence to our congregation. I took it right on the stage. The Sunday we had the vaccination, I was the first one to do it, so I felt like if I take it first, then maybe that would ease some apprehension. Because they would say if my pastor would do it, he wouldn't lead us anywhere that he wouldn't go himself. They saw that example and they followed it, many of them.
I have never been hesitant about taking the vaccine. I've always felt that the vaccine was safe. There were literally hundreds of thousands of people who had taken the vaccine by the time I took the vaccine that had no ill effects.
So we're really working on the base of trust and that we do no harm to anyone. And if we were allow our children, our family, our grandparents, or my father's 87 years old, he had the shot, that surely they should trust us enough, but trust God, that this vaccine is safe and it is the best thing that we can do right now to protect ourselves.
I prayed and asked God to give us something and give us some type of way. And so I was first in line to be vaccinated and receive the vaccine.
And for those people who say, well, I'm gonna die when it's my time to die, and I say to them, but God gives you the ability to extend your time. God gives you the ability to make the decisions that you need to make. When we talk about our time is our time, you go stand in the middle of an interstate, that's going to be your time, but that was your decision, not God's decision.
If He's going to take care of us, He's going to do it because we've had the proper actions. So when I get in my car and pray, God, take care of me, I also put on my seatbelt because I want God to take care of me.
So if all I got to do is take a shot in the arm and it's a chance that I don't have to go through that, I don't have to send my daughter through those kind of, I'm my daughter's only living parent. And if I can do whatever it is to make that still be a fact that I'm her living parent, I'm willing to do it.
And this is affecting all people, which unfortunately, because of so many of the underlying issues that we are dying from disproportionately. So if any group needs the vaccine, in my estimation, is the African American community.
But I think it's a matter of stewardship. Stewardship, not just of your body, but it's stewardship of your community, of your brother. When we talk about loving your neighbor, this is one of the ways I love my neighbor, by being responsible. And I think it's being very responsible by taking the vaccine that will protect others as well as myself.
This vaccine can save a lot of lives. This can open up the door for us to do many things.
I want to get back to hugging. I want to, I'm tired of lifting up my elbow and pounding people. I want to be able to show people that I care, I miss them. Life is so different without that sense of love. And you never know what a hug does to someone that doesn't have anyone to give them a hug. And I don't want me not having a vaccine to keep me from being that hug to someone that needs a hug.
In an effort to better inform the African American community about the vaccine, Bishop T.D. Jakes brought in big-name experts for an online event called Conversations with America, Understanding the COVID-19 Vaccine. Jakes explained while hard-hit communities of color desperately need the vaccine, access and distribution may be a problem. He suggested using churches and other faith-based groups as a solution.
Is there any thought about getting medical professionals to work through faith-based entities within those local communities where they could go to churches, for instance, and have medical physicians there that could administer the vaccine? Because many of our communities are in food deserts and places like that where they can't get the vaccine.
You could do it by community centers, churches. You mentioned, Bishop, is very important. Faith-based organizations getting involved, but also mobile units to go out into those communities which are not readily accessible.
As a way to help spread the word among their communities, 6 black pastors got their vaccines today. They got their shots today at the Clifton Chenier Center. The reason the pastors decided to get their shots is twofold. First, to protect themselves, and secondly, to encourage others to get theirs.
We know that there are access issues and there are also hesitancy issues, and we're working very hard to increase access, again, in communities and neighborhoods like here and in the Lafayette Parish Health Unit. We're having clinics in churches throughout the community, working with our great partners in the hospital systems.
And there is a vaccination event tomorrow at the Immaculate Heart of Mary Church in Lafayette from 8 until noon.
I'm Pastor Kelsey West, and I love Clark County. I didn't do it just for me. I did it for my family, friends, and community. I did it because I want to get back to life, back to church, work, and living. I had my shot. Join me. Take your shot, get your vaccine, and get back to life. Get back to church.
Get the vaccine. Get it. Override your sense of doubt. I was laughing the other day. Someone was saying, I'm very hesitant. I don't know why you're doing that. I asked them, what's in acetaminophen? Do you know? What's in Tylenol? There are a lot of things that people ingest on a daily basis without any regard to their health. And yet, let's push past the myopic YouTube silos that we find ourselves in and offer ourselves to do something that I think is not just commendable, but I think in these days and times, being a humanitarian is a revolutionary act. And so if you want to be a part of the solution, get the vaccine.
Today, Pastor David Frazier leading by example.
They see us taking it, and hopefully it'll make them feel safe.
Frazier, one of several Mobile County African American pastors to roll up their sleeve to get the first dose of the COVID vaccine.
If we can show for a sign of supporting the vaccine, then we feel that it would be a benefit to the community, our parishioners, but the community at large.
A Kaiser Family Foundation study found that about 1 in 3 African Americans are hesitant to get vaccinated. The concern likely stemming from the Tuskegee experiment. The health department hopes vaccinating religious leaders helps calm nerves.
There's a trust factor in everything we do in life, and people trust their pastors. So the pastors coming down and wanting to share this experience with the community is really beautiful.
Tressler Lafitte was vaccinated alongside her husband, who's a pastor. She got the first dose on the same day she said goodbye to a loved one who died from the virus.
I just knew that I wanted to do it, and hopefully this can inspire others that may be hesitant about getting it done. Perhaps they will see us as examples and want to do it as well.
It's about life and dying.
This group of pastors wants to get 70% of people in minority communities vaccinated against COVID-19. They say only about 15% of blacks and Hispanics have gotten the shot in Florida.
Zip codes, marginalized communities that historically been overlooked and underserved, we got to go tell them it's a new day, that these vaccines will save your lives.
Pastors and about 100 paid workers will canvass in neighborhoods like this one right here. They'll then go from one door to the other, encouraging people to get their COVID-19 vaccine.
We'll be making phone calls. We'll be making robocalls. We'll be knocking on doors as a collective effort across Duval County to move black and browns to the V sites.
Turner says even though he's not ready to roll up his sleeve, he thinks it's important for people to be educated.
I think it's a good encouragement that people should go out and get it. Your health is your wealth.
On the west side, Dawn White, First Coast News, on your side.
I said God is good.
This podium becoming more of a pulpit.
I am tired of this pandemic. I don't want it to develop anymore. I want it to decline to no more.
A Baptist preacher's gonna preach, this time sharing the gospel of vaccination.
God has used scientists to come up with a preventive measure to finally get us through this pandemic.
These black pastors joined the Miami-Dade County mayor, commissioners, and other community leaders promoting public health, fittingly sanitizing that podium between speakers, encouraging people to get their shots.
Some people don't want to take the vaccine. Not good sense.
This vaccine is safe, and this is our way out. And that's not just for the black community, but that's for every community.
Today I am filled with hope, I am filled with joy.
It had all of the feelings of a tent revival, tents included. The group moved inside as two of those pastors practiced what they've been preaching, rolling up their sleeves to get their second doses of the Pfizer vaccine.
If we don't actually find a way to get a vast majority of this community vaccinated, it's going to be very difficult to have the economy that we had before. It's going to be very difficult to have the spiritual life that we had before. It's going to be very difficult to have the communal life that we had before.
This is our way out. This is our way up. And by the way, for the record, I'm not talking cheap because I've already been vaccinated.